Just step back a little bit. All right there.
Is that it?
Yep. All righty. And we rolling.
Should I have my face? Should we start?
We've already started.
Oh. Okay. Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whip ass.
And you will too if you pass.
This episode, what's the name of this episode?
This episode is Overcoming Fear.
Well, it is.
Well, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's different. The actual title of this episode, let me get the actual title here so we have it. Hold up. Bring it up here.
Scary season or not.
That's
Okay.
what that, excuse me.
All right.
I'm getting all this Black Power Media alert.
Scary season or not. We know that tomorrow is so-called Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have to deal with what scares us, fear. And of course, since this is warrior class, how to overcome that fear. Okay. Starting with the news first. I want to deal with the elephant in the room. You can see that there's a twist in my lip. Probably hear some of the slurred speech. I suffered a stroke on air last Thursday. Talking about fear. I'll deal with that a little later when we deal with our fears. I suffered a stroke online during the Versus episode. It happened. If you go back and watch the episode, and if you haven't seen that episode, you can watch it. It happened right when we were talking about Belay versus Michael Jai White. And I'm looking at the camera like, what the hell? Because I could feel something shift in my face. And even felt my hand go numb and get real heavy. So I'm trying to play it off. I'm looking, trying to see what's wrong with me. And so I was being careful with what I said. I wasn't saying that much. And then I was speaking slowly to get the words out. Like I said, the joke about it was true. But somebody asked me about what would I do if I fought Hulk Hogan. I said he'd be whole Hogan. But I said he'd be whole Hogan. I had to get that word out, to get it out. I said, oh, Lord. I'm thinking in my mind, oh, my God. Had a stroke online. I know people are going to know, but it keeps going. I'm going to have to get off of here. So I was like, one of the hosts realized it. And Belay had. So then when it got to, we did Ominiki's, I wasn't saying much. I just said, I gave my score and didn't say anything else. I didn't want it to be so clear. And then, and I spoke way worse than this. Okay. Then when it got to, well, then it was me. I wasn't saying that against Chuck Norris. Then when it got to Remy's morning show against the Breakfast Club and Young Turks, my speech was back normal. So I said, it must have been a TIA, which is a transient ischemic attack, what people call a small stroke. TIA is a word to make it sound better, but it's a stroke. I said, it must have been that. Belay drove me home. I called my daughter downstairs to tell her what happened. And as I'm telling her, the speech left again. And it's been like this, well, worse, but it's gotten better now. It's worse than this, but it slurred and didn't stop slurring. Okay. So that's what I'm dealing with. Been going to, doctor initially, but going to acupuncturist and eating well, exercising. I'm getting better, getting spiritual work done. Things are getting better. I know exactly what I have to do now, which I won't share online at this point, but I know what I need to do. once I'm fully healed, I will share what I did so it can inspire others to do what I did. Okay. So that's what's happening with that. That's my news. Hopefully it gets better. I speak better when I use a Nigerian accent, but I said I won't do it because they're laughing. I do it at home.
We'll do ours too.
I did it at home, and my mother, I mean, not my mother, goodness. My wife and my daughter. Well, first my daughter said, "Dad, why are you using a Nigerian accent?" And she said, "You sound just like they did when she went to Nigeria and got initiated." And I said, I speak clearer. So when I speak like this, I speak much clearer. It's very strange. I have no explanation for it, but it is so. So, but I don't want to insult my Nigerian brothers and sisters. I know many Nigerians. I don't want them getting mad at me. Bob Pashola, if you watch this, no insult. It's just I can speak better that way. I'm doing it, and after a while, my wife, she's doing it, being funny, and so the whole house was just doing Nigerian accents. But it is easier for me to talk that way. Maybe it'd be easier if I just spoke Yoruba, but nobody would know what I'm saying. So and my ability to speak Yoruba is so bad, I'd be really insulting people. Okay, so just letting y'all know.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I said, I seen him. I kind of felt the energy when he was kind of like, "Oh shit, this shit is happening." He kind of like reflecting, testing his voice, all that shit. It was amazing. I mean, now when I look back, it was amazing that he had the poise he had, and I'm looking at it as and he's like checking his voice, and his hand bothered me. He kind of, just do everything that he was doing so smooth. It's like, yo, you got to be able to really handle your fear, your pain, manage it. The way I just thought that was really impressive. So I just want to say that. So I want peace to everybody logging in. Jadorian, Sugar Booger. I feel funny when I say that. Sherline Cloud. All right.
Greetings, everybody.
So we got the obvious news real quick that we ain't gonna talk too much on.
Real quick. He said, been missing warrior class lately.
Bacon.
Slogan has to be bacon point. Hello, everyone. That's a slip. You must want to eat some bacon.
Don't do it.
Get you some veggie bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
And but thank you.
Glad you're here. So we have the obvious biggest news, of course, is Alec Baldwin. What happened with that situation, shooting someone on the set. That's still ongoing, but that did happen. And I actually, if you're wondering why I have this clean shaved face, is for a part I was in recently. And so, anyway, so what we did is, I almost want to talk about that, how they try to do you, but I'm not going to do it. But I talked to the crew about this, the armory and the ADs, and they having an argument because that's the big thing. Who's responsible for this happening on the set? So we're gonna follow this a little more, and we'll get back to y'all. But it's crazy because I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, and I was there and present at the time when Brandon Lee was shot on set and killed. And I remember she don't know pork on the fork. I remember
no swine when I dine.
I remember that how it was when they talked about all the new stuff they were going to put in place when Brandon Lee got killed. So for this to be able to happen again is really interesting to say the least. Because the funny thing is they know a blank could kill you. A lot of people don't know that. But especially blank like in a shotgun or something, the right blank in a shotgun to kill you. So, I've had a gun on set before, and the guy checked it before he handed it to me, and then I was given instructions about, what to do with it and everything. So that was a real strange situation.
I'll say this. One, Alec Baldwin was a producer on the show.
I thought about that too.
But two, he pointed at the director and the director of photography.
Yes, he
You
did.
don't point your gun if it's a water gun. You treat it like it's a real gun. You don't point that at people. I mean, water gun you're playing with, you point it to shoot it. But you have any gun on set, or if we went here and I had a gun, if I'm showing to take the gun from the person, first of all, I always check the gun, and they know that.
Right.
I say, you check your gun, then I check it. And then I handle it like it's loaded, never pointed at the person until we're doing a technique. They pointed at me. I take the tool, and then I put it down, and that's it. But if we're not working techniques, I'm not just walking around pointing the gun at folks, pistol at folks, being funny.
That's the training, though, Bob. That's the
right.
I read that he was
the
practicing cross drawing. And part of the reason why some of the crew walked off the set is that I think they were pointing the gun at the camera, at some point. So he might have been trying to point the gun at the camera, and of course he wasn't aiming well.
Right. Even in that, when you're shooting a film, pay attention to where they're shooting. You never aim directly at the camera, because now all you're seeing is the muzzle.
If you guys
so
don't
you
know,
aim
this is
off.
Bob was also a director and went to school for film, so he kind of knows a little bit about that.
So you're pointing it off,
and that is how Brandon Lee died.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't point at the folks like that.
Right.
That's dangerous hell. In fact, I don't know what round was in that, but it went through the director of photography. It was like a rifle round, and then into the director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was crazy.
Why would you?
Pistols normally don't do that. Well, it wasn't a pistol, it was a revolver. From the old west.
What was that loaded with?
But usually they're loaded with 41 caliber ball, and that does not go through two people. One person and then hit the other person.
How do you get a live round on the set? That's the
and a live round and load it into a gun that is supposed to be a prop gun.
How do you get that far? So we're gonna leave that.
Right.
We're gonna leave that there because it's.
All right, I got one other thing that I'd like to add, because I have also been on a set since this happened, and I was issued a gun on that day that I was on set, and it was a rubber gun. It was clearly it looked like a pistol, but it was rubber. There's no way you could load it. You can't even slide the action, but like there was nothing you could do. But they very much treated it like it was a real gun. We were instructed not to remove it from the holster, not to interact with it, just to leave it in the holster so that it gave the look that they wanted. But, I guess that's, everyone's being hyper vigilant right now.
That's so strange. I mean, was Alec Baldwin a hitter for somebody?
Yeah, I thought about Trump setting him up. But,
that would be hilarious.
But he played Trump on Saturday Night Live. They had a lot of back and forth in the media at the time. It would be the perfect time for him to get set up because
Trump didn't
he's
make
not in office
aimed
anymore.
at the folks.
Yeah, that's true. But I
Trump,
mean, they said
millions of people.
They said that the gun went off.
They reported the guns were used in
target practice. Yeah,
of the crew. Yeah, that's why those numbers walking off of the crew and everything. So that's gonna be ongoing. We'll be on that. Some other news is Halle Berry has a new movie that she's directed in and starring in, and it's an MMA, come up type of movie or comeback story. Yeah, comeback story. It's called Facial.
Yeah, so Halle Berry is playing Facial. That's funny. No,
Bruise.
It's not. It's Bruise. That's official.
You saw it's cut off.
Let's tell you what you think about her. But anyway, so
Bruised.
Yeah, Bruised. Halle Berry is directing it and she's starring in it. I'm interested to see that her playing an MMA, old MMA champ.
Yeah, it's about a fighter who,
but it looks good.
Reclaims her power. And if you know one thing about Halle Berry when it comes to her acting, when she does an action part, she takes it really serious.
She go all the way.
She trains really hard.
Not just action. When she did the part in
Billy
Spike Lee. No, Spike Lee. Oh my God, no. The Spike Lee movie. The Spike Lee movie. She when she plays the crackhead.
She does crack.
She lived. No, she didn't wash herself for something like 30 days.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
She lived amongst people who were on crack and stuff like that.
Yeah, the method actors, them.
Yeah, I mean, they can go crazy. Like Wesley Snipes, when he played Blade, he wouldn't answer unless you called him Blade. He would not answer to Wesley.
I don't answer unless people call me Blade. That's funny. So, okay, now for some serious news. We've been talking about women's safety as the past couple of episodes. So this is another case that came up. This one here is from a professor. I'm not sure what college that she's in.
I think she's calls herself that. She does like.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, she does money some job.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Okay.
Her name is Kezia.
Okay, so basically it's a video on Instagram because she has the little cameras on her front door and rigged in her house. So she said, this week an unknown man followed me home and attempted to break in with zip ties in his pocket. And this is no joke. You see the guy, she walks in the house and she says, no, thank you, grabs her dog, walk in the house.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, have a nice day. She walks in the house fast. He's like, hold up. So he walks to the door, tries to open it. And when he can't open it, see the camera, put his finger on the camera and pull out some gloves. Put the gloves on, very calm. He's done this a few times. Put the gloves on. This is the crazy thing. So he starts trying to pry her screen door and can't. So he goes to the windows, right? The neighbor next door, another woman, she sees what's happening and tries to play it off. So she goes outside like she watering the lawn or whatever, instead of just calling the police.
Right.
She goes out to be nosy. She just rather be nosy and see what's happening. So she goes out to water the lawn. Dude, just stop.
But he acted like he was doing something, but he stopped.
He just acted like he was doing something else. Waited till she went in and went right back to trying to pry her window. So he went to every window. This is the important part of that. I'm not even going to read everything that happened because I don't want to. It's not a fear campaign. It's not what I'm trying to do. But I do want to point out some facts about this. She was in a good neighborhood. It was a decent neighborhood. What she did was she locked herself in a room where she has cameras that could see and called the police. Well, just so happened the police took 29 minutes before they showed up. The guy just gave up after 22 minutes. And he wasn't astute in how to really break in a house, or he would have been able to get in. She had no tools to protect herself that she mentioned. She didn't say she grabbed a knife. She didn't grab a bat. She didn't grab a gun. She talked about her neighbors and friends bringing over tools and firearms. She didn't say anything about having anything. She only mentioned that she prayed to God and she's still scared and hopefully God will protect her. And
she don't mind getting down on her knees.
Yeah, she don't mind
for the Lord.
But go get a gun. The Lord gave you hands. And
to walk to that store
and get you a permit. Right. He gave you all that, like Nat Turner said. It wasn't until he started praying with his hands and his feet till his prayers start being answered. I want to say that because look, first of all, single woman at home, you need some tools to protect your house, and you need to train with some tools. So get you a shotgun to protect your house. Go out there and what type of rounds would you need for that shotgun, Bob?
You need shells, either 12 gauge or 20 gauge, depending on what kind of shotgun you have. Shells, not slugs, because, well, she may not have anybody else at home. She could use a slug.
Right, she is by herself, so she got a pet.
So, because slugs will go through the wall. Right. Shells will put holes in the wall. They're not going through the wall like that.
Right. So, and the reason, so the reason why I'm saying shotgun for anybody that's trying to protect their home is because in that situation, first of all, you're not going to be aiming. You're going to be, with that shotgun, it's going to lessen the chance of you missing, first of all. And second of all, in some states, places, a man busts in your house, anybody busts in your house and say I shoot them in the head with my pistol, I can still be charged with murder, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. But that shotgun, I can blow your whole upper torso off. And hey, I was aiming for your elbow, but nobody can't prove anything like that. So that's one of the reasons why you definitely.
And know the laws in your state. Because like a lot from DC, Maryland, or the DMV area, they have the castle laws. So it's real strict with firearms. So just know, and some of our people may be from the UK,
right,
which is strict.
Can't get them. Yeah.
And that, in that respect, you know, say maybe if you cannot have a firearm, then you're gonna have to. That's where your self-awareness is gonna have to. You're gonna have to use different tools,
set traps.
Exactly. One of the things she said that stuck out: an unknown man followed me home. So we could stop right there. When you see somebody following you, now I don't know if she detected it and still went home, but if somebody following you walking or whatever, you walking your dog or whatever, if you got your phone with you, then you get on the phone with somebody or you call somebody right then or whatever, but you don't want to take that person to your home.
Well, it looked like she had the dog on a line. So she's like, come here. She pulled in the line to bring the dog in, then carried the dog. So if he followed you home, why would you also, the dog, take the time, bring the dog in? That man probably was not going to hurt the dog. Sometimes we got to be sensible. Some of us, you know, dog is like our child, so she may have grabbed it instinctively. Mm-hmm. But you got to be careful. And then she, have a nice day. You don't have to make him feel better. You don't have to just get in the house to safety. You don't have to worry about, you have to worry about him, but the time it takes for you to have a nice day and then come in, and probably nervousness too, but you know, she goes in, even when she went inside, she said again, have a nice day. He's gonna have a nice day with you if you get in there. Now, if you're in your house, you have many tools, you just don't see them as weapons, so you don't know to grab them. But just like we've taught on the baseball bat, we taught on hammers. The hammer especially is ubiquitous. Mm-hmm. Knife is more ubiquitous. Every home has a knife, at least one, unless for spiritual reasons or something you don't. Right. So she could have grabbed a knife and been ready. He's got to get through the door or through the window. Right. She can put in work, but she's not prepared mentally even. You could tell by the way she moved and the way she was talking. Right. So even if she had a pistol, she wouldn't have used it. She had a taser and pepper spray. She didn't have, but she went in the room and just got on the phone. She didn't grab it then. So one of the good things that comes to training too. We're gonna deal with that. So she did. The good thing about this is nothing happened. She wasn't harmed. And after this, she's saying, she said, I own a taser, I own a pepper spray. I will be buying a doorstop, which are very good. And she said, I will now register for a gun. That's very good. If you can, you should do that. And she said, I am a praying woman, so I don't mind, to get on these. That's good, but get the gun. Now you're talking. You know what I'm saying? And the number one thing that you pay attention to, the guy, he didn't have a mask. He didn't have a trash bag to grab all her stuff. All he had was zip ties and gloves. Yeah, he's going to take care of it. Now, because a person, human being, traffic, at a minimum, you're getting $40,000. That's probably worth more than he would have gotten going, just stealing something from her house. Mm-hmm. But also, I'm a praying man. Okay. And even when we talk about Ogun, I pray to Ogun every day. Somebody kicks in the door, that's not the time for me to get down on my knees, or even not even kicking the door, somebody trying to get in my house. That's not time for me to get on my knees, pray to Ogun. Please, Ogun, help me. Ogun, I've already prayed. Ogun, help me if somebody tries to come in my door. Let me put in work, and they never can go in nobody else's door. Yeah, let me do it well. So just know that there's a time to pray and there's a time to slay. There's a time for singing and there's a time for swinging. So just keep that in mind. It is what it is. The truth is the truth is. So we're going to get to overcoming fear. And that's dealing with fear.
I see a comment telling people to get birdshot. Do you recommend birdshot?
No, tell them to get buckshot. And or bird. Okay. Buckshot, yes. bird shot, if you're really trying to stop the person, number 6 bird, that's not going to do it. Bird shot is very fine. I mean, hell, you get shot. Like my father always says, it's going to do something. But I want to do a lot of something.
If you
get yourself buckshot,
already firing. So
I'm telling you, I don't want the person that broke in my house, end up taking my life, or being able to say, "Look, man, I got shot 7 times. I still lived." You know what I'm saying? Because you got the wrong thing.
Yeah,
you know
no 50-cent stories.
Right? Yeah, you gonna have that kind of story. You coming for me or mine? You know.
So he makes a record too. Makes platinum records after taking your life.
Right.
Nah. Where's the justice in that? No, he got to go. So
peace, Big Tail.
Somebody asked, "Am I wearing a corduroy fedora?" Yes, I am wearing a corduroy.
Only the best.
But they don't know that I have like over 40 hats. They're about to learn because it's gotten cool now. Right. That I wear plenty hats, even when I'm teaching class.
Right. Next week we're gonna have a top hat.
Yeah, I have leather top hats. I got all kinds of hats. If you can imagine, I probably got it. From different cultures and countries and all that good stuff. All right. And I spoke earlier. You can go back if you missed of why there's a slur in my voice and everything. I know Kalani said Balagoon's been sick. Thursday, while we do the Thursday show, said I'll let him speak on what's going on, and it's a stroke. So, all right, but we're healing. We're gonna get back to it. I had a stroke in 2012, 7 of them, 7 cerebellar strokes. I was in the hospital for 4 days, got out. 4 days after that, I went back to teaching. My wife was like, no. Yeah. Because I can't just sitting here. What is that doing to me? I don't even believe you're healing if you're just laying there. You just, not me. I can't heal that way. So I gotta go. I gotta move.
Be active.
Exactly. Okay.
That makes sense.
So that's me. All right. Ready?
Yeah. We're ready to go. Are we gonna first go into
our fears? First let me talk about ancestors versus ghosts, because we're dealing with this Halloween thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
The Caucasians, I don't want to say all, Western society, period, they fear spirit. And I would too if I had done so much wicked shit. I would fear spirit.
Right.
The African doesn't fear spirit. We revere spirit. Okay. And the reason why, those who really know, because you're dealing with yourself, what's inside of you. We talk about Ogun, the spirit of iron and war. Well, iron, this is titanium, but still this knife. Use one that's easier to open. You got a.
I got a straight blade.
Fixed blade.
Yeah, fixed blade.
I can. Just a fixed blade is easier. This one here is flipped, but that's the fixed blade. Okay, this is iron. It's titanium, but it's still a tool of war, so you can use that. This is iron. So this is Ogun. But laying on that table, that's not really a danger to any of us. Unless we made a mistake, slipped and touched it or something, right? And still be us touching it. I'm Ogun. I can hurt you though, right? Because Ogun is in me. When I pick this up, I become more dangerous because now that iron Ogun and the Ogun that's in me, they're one. And so I made it more dangerous and it's made me more dangerous. That's the reality of Ogun. Not hashtag Ogun. You know, it ain't got nothing to do with that foolishness. That's the reality of Ogun. So it's talking about you. So the Odu, which is our body of knowledge, O'Connor and Osa says, what good is a cutlass except human beings pick it up? Okay. So human beings have to pick that up for it to be of any use. That means you are Ogun. Ogunye, Ogun lives. Moye, so I live. Ogun, we are Ogun. All right, so we revere spirit. We are Oshun, Ogun, Obatala, Olokun. We are those spirits, okay? With the embodiments of those. So we have a reverence because we have a reverence for ourselves, a love for ourselves. Those same spirits are in other folks other than Africans, but there are some cultures that have no reverence for that. They have reverence for money, you know, capitalism, white supremacy, rape, murder, thievery. So those people, they do Halloween and wear those costumes to try to scare off, like that's working, other spirits. That's where that comes from. Okay, that's what Halloween is about. You scare them off so we don't suffer this thing. We want the treats. We don't want the tricks. Ghouls, goblins, ghosts. We believe in spirits. Now, what is a ghost? A ghost, from an African perspective, is simply someone that died by violence, unwittingly, not in war, but unwittingly, right? Or by a horrific accident, unwittingly, they died, and they're still struggling with the fact that, you know, wanting to be here. And usually those entities can become very corrupt because of that need to be here in the physical form, but they're no longer in the physical form, and that's confusion and all that. But that's for another time.
I can see why it wouldn't be a lot of black ghosts, because we ain't trying to stay here no more. We done been through too much shit.
And well, we trying to stay here when we here.
Right, when we here, once we leave.
But also, black folks, like in horror, I write horror, but I write it a way that makes sense for us. Black folks, if we say, oh boy, there's some kind of man down there he looks like a shadow, and he's standing downstairs. Oh, let me go see what's going on. That's not us. Because we respect that.
Right. Enough to leave it alone.
Right, enough to leave that alone. Okay. These folks, they have fear, but they want to go to that fear and play with it.
They can't overcome their
that's what Halloween, you playing with what you're afraid of. All right, keep playing.
A lot of Halloween movies too. Let's go down to old so-and-so and see so-and-so. And they're like, no, we shouldn't do it. Yeah, let's do that.
20 people died at that house. Let's go in there and see if we live. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. But that's not us. Okay, so
I will say taking martial arts has made me a bit bolder with investigating things around the house. If I hear noises and things like that.
Yeah, in your house,
I feel
like
I'm gonna go look and see
if you investigate, and while investigating, standing there is this big dude in a jumpsuit and a white mask. I would advise go ahead and just break out of there, you know.
Breaking out the tools.
I'm breaking out the tools too.
I'm just kidding.
My fast ass running shoes. As far part of martial arts, the highest level is avoidance.
True.
And I'm avoiding that encounter by getting my ass on. Now, dealing with our fears, and then we'll get into how to overcome our biggest fears. So,
I'll start. Again, we always offer.
Sure, I'll start. I am a little bit caught off guard with this. I'll be honest. And so I really had to think about what my biggest fear has been, and it's something that I'm still dealing with right now, which is losing people. I my brother transitioned when I was 15, and I have the hardest time with losing people, and it's difficult for me to I don't know. It's difficult to say goodbye. It's difficult as soon as I find out that someone is sick. Like it's so hard. Like I think about them, but it's really difficult for me to interact with them. So, I've learned that going toward where the fear is coming from, when it's that kind of fear, is the healthiest thing to do. So, that's what I'm trying to do now. That's what's helping me kind of get through it. But each time something happens in my family or with people who are close to me, it's really difficult. Yeah.
So we're gonna deal with that. You said going towards it. We'll deal with that in a minute. Billy, you have any?
Yeah. So I was just talking about this before the show. I had one major fear before I had my daughter. So my biggest fear growing up was always of being a bum. Believe it or not, that was my greatest fear. I grew up on this corner where I saw a lot of dudes that had everything that I had at the time. I seen them have. I was like 16, 17. I got a car. I graduate high school. I get an apartment with my homeboy and stuff. And I'm looking at dudes that's now they crackheads and they dope fiends, and they had the same thing I had that I have right then. So they had cars, they had apartments, but now they dope. So I was always like, man, I don't want that. I used to be so scared that would happen to me. That would happen to me. And at one point, I was homeless for about 6 months or almost a year. Slept at the shop that I was working in at the time. And I think I drew that energy in because I was so focused on don't want to be homeless, don't want to be homeless, until I started understanding how the mind works and started focusing on prosperity. And instead of thinking homeless, broke, homeless, broke, homeless, broke, I started focus on prosperity and wealth. And it kind of changed my mindset, started bringing in a different type of energy. Then once my daughter was born, then after that, which is still now, my biggest fear now would be disappointing her and her being ashamed of me. That's my biggest fear.
My biggest fear, originally, it was me, my wife, and my children, or just my wife or my children, if not me, to being in a car accident. Because death for me was better than being an accident and leaving paralyzed, something like that.
I see you, Big Tail, too. Appreciate it.
But now, since 2012, I told you I suffered stroke. August 29, 2012, had 7 of them. It was not the strokes, but having a stroke, it was just crazy, having a stroke publicly, where my students or comrades or enemies or whoever saw me. And then to have a stroke last Thursday online, that was my biggest fear. Okay. And that's why I was desperately playing it off, but I was worried, like, oh shit. Not much scares me. That one got me. Not the stroke itself, but you all knowing. And that's why I'm talking about it, so I can deal with the fear of that. We'll get into how to overcome fear in a minute. So as far as overcoming it, I'm in the process of that now. I just overcame it today. Okay. And then a new fear, speaking with a slur, speaking before you with a twist in my mouth, which looking at the camera doesn't look as bad as looking in the mirror it did.
I told you.
Today before I left, oh my God. It just looked like my mouth was like, and certain things I don't share with my wife when I had that kind of fear, because I know shit, it's over with then. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. And we're doing a whole bunch of spiritual work, and God dog it, but it's fear. It wasn't the physical thing at all. You know. So that's, for me, that's it. But how do you get over those fears, which is what we're going to deal with now. Okay.
I just want to say, Bob, before we get into the actual how to overcome fear, I just want to say what she spoke on. African martial arts, our training has done. Even reading what we're about to say, made me think of the training. So I just have to just really thank the training. The fact that we get thrown in the fire, so to speak, how you have class set up to where you gonna put you on the spot sometimes. The little things. And I know you know exactly what I'm saying. Like you might just want to demonstrate something and bring me in front of the class, and then you kind of just flow a little bit. Even that's taking me out of my comfort zone. The fact that that I want to train slow when you show me something. I want to do it slow. I want to do it without moving my feet first. I want to do it all. This is what I want. Nobody ain't gonna let me do that. They're not gonna let me be comfortable while I'm getting it. They're not gonna allow that, and that's gonna make me learn it quicker, because I won't always have the perfect conditions. You won't always have the perfect conditions to adapt, to pick up something, and to move, and to react, and all that things. And it teaches you that in a real subtle way. Sometimes it's right there in your face, but other times you don't even know that's what it's doing for you. So I just want to and that's the way you do it, the way you have it set up. So I just want to say thank you for that.
I see. And that's because it's rooted in overcoming fear, and we'll get to that in just a second. So, Nikki, you ready? What do you want me to do it?
Just a second.
All right.
It's on this one.
To overcome fear, you must, 1, get out of your comfort zone and
That's called repetition. Repetition.
Exactly.
Okay, remember that. Repetition.
To overcome fear, you must, 1, get out of your comfort zone and constantly go into areas where you are dealing with unknown or fearful type situations. Don't like the dark? Spend more time sitting in it, working in it, training in it. Not comfortable in the rain? Spend more and more time in it until the fear is no longer an area of concern.
And real quick, can I say on the rain? I won't talk about what I went through when I had to do work in the rain for about 2 hours. But big thing of the discomfort of the rain, I don't want to get wet.
Right.
Go ahead, stay in the rain, get wet. Now what's the discomfort? It's already there. Mm-hmm. And you're still able to function. Just know that. So you're wet, that's done. So get out your comfort zone.
The only way to accomplish this is to practice, and then practice some more. When unknown circumstances occur, and they always will, by training for an attack while going to your car, for example, you'll be ready and will adapt as needed.
Control the situation and your fear. That's so funny because I just wrote this. Not for real. You gotta control yourself first. I remember you saying that. You control the situation. One of the benefits of repetitive, realistic training is it gives you the ability to feel. I've got this covered. I've done this 100 times in training. By continuing to push through the envelope and leave your comfort zone, you will control your fear and the situation. which allows a clear head and ability to make sound decisions. Another way of helping yourself control fear is to regulate and slow your breathing.
So you want to do what's called combat breathing or warrior breathing, okay? And the way we do that, and we'll do some of that now, is you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4. So breathe in, hold, breathe out. Keep your eyes open and focus on whatever it is you're trying to focus on, okay? Breathe in, hold, breathe out.
I want to say something. If you notice, if you look at Baba while he was breathing in and out, you notice his shoulders didn't do this.
Yes. So you breathe into your stomach.
Thank you.
Stomach expands. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. When you breathe in, expand your stomach. When you breathe out, your stomach contracts. Breathe in. Hold. Out. Do that 5 to 10 times to settle yourself and overcome fear.
Yes, and that's the proper way to breathe. It should start from your stomach expanding and then go up to your chest, and then the opposite way down. It's almost like you're doing the worm. You do the worm on the way up, and then your worm on the way down. That's how your air should kind of flow. You know what I'm saying? So,
and when you can control your breathing and operate outside your comfort zone, it's only a matter of time before you will no longer be afraid. That's how you overcome fear. Control of the breath, that's very important. Don't eliminate that part.
I'm telling you, forget to breathe when you get scared.
And operating outside your comfort zone. You learn to cut down a tree by
cutting down
a tree.
So you have to go to your fear. So when we talked about approaching your fear, you got to get out your comfort zone. The comfort zone is not dealing with people who you could lose. Then you go to those people who are sick or what have you. Do something for them, do something with them. It's even better because now you're dealing with that situation. Because what's the worst that can happen? They can die right there while you're there. Well, they can die anytime. You can too. Any of us can leave here. That's why we train and we eat well and we work out and we do the things to stay here. Okay, but of course we know that we're all going to leave. Some people say, well, we're not born to die because so and so and so. And that's nice. That sounds nice. But I challenge you to find me one person that you know that's not going to leave this planet. Find them for me, show them to me, and I'll change my whole way of thinking. Because we all are going to leave. That is guaranteed. And I don't care how esoteric we want to get. We're not going to die because we're going to do so and so, and we eat shea butter and we walk through the tulips and we live forever. Get out of here. We all
you're for the mothership coming to get me.
Right, yeah, okay. And that pilot on the mothership gonna die too. So you better be on that mug when he's young, because if not, he's gonna die and crash. So just know that, and if you know that you can leave, one, you respect your life more.
Yeah, well.
You respect the lives of others more. When you're dealing with teenagers or younger, they're doing some. When I was young, I did some wild stuff that could have bust my skull and all kinds of stuff. But that's because you are not thinking in terms of the fact I can leave here.
Not at all.
Consequences, period, for the most part.
Right. No consequences. So, and sometimes your parents don't go over there and get hit by a car. Well, you telling the child that, but they ain't really hearing that. They're still going out there because it's not their program. They're so far from it. Hopefully,
right.
They're so far from leaving that they're not seeing that. Well, at a certain point, as we become adults, we have to see it. We have to know, well, shit, it ain't coming for me no time soon because I'm preparing myself. It's not coming for me no time soon. But I know it's coming, right? So then I don't avoid folks. When folks are sick, well, let me say, when folks, funerals and stuff like that, I have a fear of going to funerals, in which I usually avoid them. Same, and I'm going to change that myself. It's not the fear of the funeral; it's the fear of the hyper drama at the funeral. Because I don't know how white folks do their funerals, but black folks, we get dramatic at funeral. Oh my God!
Yeah, contest sometimes.
Boy, either it's war going on, or it's the hyper crying. I have an aunt, had an aunt, she's transitioned. My mother's sister, she would drag my mother's big sister, oldest, born 1912. She would drag, come on, let's go to the funeral. She'd be like, whose funeral? She said, it's a funeral happening on so-and-so. They don't even know the people. They go in the funeral, my aunt will watch, and if they're not crying enough, she'd, oh Lord, oh, I miss them so much. Oh, and she starts saying these things to get people to cry. Oh my gosh. That's not. So for me, I can't. I don't want to be around that kind of drama.
I'll say something about that. I've been to an Ethiopian funeral. I don't know if either of you have ever been to an Ethiopian funeral, but I was close to one of my Ethiopian coworkers, and her younger sister died. And their entire community gets together wherever they are. So even people who didn't know her were at the funeral. And they have a thing where they wail. I mean, they wail and wail and wail. It's like they're trying to get it out of them, you know? So I'm not saying that's what she was doing, but I know with certain cultures, like, you know, that's part of the whole mourning thing.
My auntie just felt they should show
me.
Yeah, feel.
I can see that too as you know how some black women use church on Sundays as a place to go and let it all out. And to cry and to all the pressures of the world. I could see people doing the same thing at a funeral. You know what I'm saying? Using that as an outlet.
I'm sure they do, but for me, I have to avoid it.
No, I understand. Yeah, definitely.
That's also a thing that why I avoided going to church. I would see people doing the
Holy Ghost. That's
now,
what
I've seen possession. I've seen spiritual possession. That doesn't bother me as much because it's not as
scripted, acted out. It just don't seem real.
Yeah,
the Holy Ghost don't seem real.
It just seems dramatic.
Yes.
Whereas spiritual possession is for real, but when it's just you just there. One time there's a woman catching the Holy Ghost. They're playing the piano. Dun, 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 dun. But this woman is doing all the modern dances.
The running man.
She's doing the modern dances and stuff. You know, she's killing it. She's stepping. You know, I'm older, so that didn't exist when I was, but she probably would have now. And she's stepping. I'm like, oh, snap. You know, I could have grabbed her hand while she was doing it. We've been stepping. It was the craziest thing ever, man. So I used to look at that. I say, Ma, and I was a little boy. I said, Ma, why is she doing that? She's doing the same dance steps every week. She would do this, and those are modern dance steps, huh? What spirit is possessing her? Oh, not the Holy Ghost. I said, so that one ghost, there's 3 people in here that's catching it, and the 3 people possessed by the same ghost.
Plum Jade said
that ghost can divide itself, and
Plum Jade said professional mourners. It's the culture.
Yes. So it's the cultural thing. Yes, that was what my aunt was doing, professional mourner. Yes, going, and she thought, you know, you raise up that's a good funeral. A lot of people were crying. She thought she was doing good.
Big Till said you used to have friends that would go hang out at the grave sites. That wasn't his thing, but that could change it. Now,
her thing.
Oh, her thing. I'm sorry. That's what I was the same way, but we had a graveyard in my neighborhood.
What are they doing in the grave? Drinking and stuff?
Yeah, we just go hang out. First, we was too young to drink, so we just go there and just cut the food because it's in the woods. And then when we got older to drink, we go there and drink.
Did y'all pour something out to?
I'm sure we did. It was OE, so I can't remember too much. I think we poured out. You know, you poured the top out.
Well, we weren't pouring out none of the OE. It cost too much.
We broke.
We poured the neck out so we could pour some Bacardi cooler in there.
Oh no!
We used to get
mixed it.
Pina colada.
Okay.
We put a
trying
pina
to make
colada
an OE
cooler in
fancy.
the OE, and then we have an OE colada.
Y'all did it fancy. Oh man! Sure.
It's hard to follow that, but
When I wanted to be fancy, I drank white pork. That's white pork, but we call it white pork.
One thing that I think I left out about facing my fear and getting over my fear is learning more about Ifa and African spirituality in general. I think also has helped me in a way, because I start to view the person's transition different. I start to view my relatives differently. For instance, like maybe 2 years after my brother, I had a cousin who was born, and he was he was named after my brother. So I for some reason, like I guess whatever energies I miss being able to share with my brother, I'm able to do that with my cousin, and the love that I hadn't been able to to give to my brother. I've been able to do that with my cousin. So
shout out to Yalagun Ojitade, my wife, who teaches Ifa, teaches it very well.
We love her,
and yes, we love her, and she's sitting over there. So. Shout out to
Multicultural Botanica.
Yes, check out Multicultural Botanica. That's her Botanica here in Riverdale, but it provides services to the world. So check it out. Any fears that you have that you've overcome, we like to hear. So
they've been posting them.
Put them in the comments. I've seen some of them. Yes, very good.
Much appreciation. That's great for all of us.
And somebody said spiritual possession happens in a lot of settings. Watch that old footage of Bob Marley. Now, I got to see that now. Oh, snap. Okay. Did Bob Marley, was he possessed? Or somebody said peace to Mrs. Balogun.
And Baba spoke on how he handled his by walking into it, and she said the same thing by studying more about it and investing in somebody.
Yeah, so you have to overcome the.
For me, it was the same way.
Zone. Okay.
I was homeless at one point. I attracted it. Then I started doing work for the homeless. So started working in the homeless community, getting to know homeless people, and then I started doing things to protect myself. Financially, not end up with. As far as my daughter not living up to her, I try to be the best person I can be.
And that's key, because that's in training and practice, because it takes practice, right? Mm-hmm. For me, overcoming my fear of having a stroke in public, well, it happened. I didn't have a choice, right? But really, the fear is being seen during and after. And so now I'm being seen, right? And although I know there's a slur there, thank you. There's a slur there. There won't be soon.
It's gotten better since he came in today. That's how strong he is. Like, it's changing as we go on. So by the end of the day, he'll be back pop lock and all that stuff.
And we all have to hold on to that thought, not to claim any type of illness or diagnosis that you have, not to be clamping on to it, calling it this is and all that. Like, let it go and allow yourself to start to heal, and you will be amazed at how quickly you can. It's
in power of speech too. When I started healing from my accident, it's the day that I stopped saying, man, I got in a wreck. I got in an accident. I said, no, man, you healing. Stop saying you know what I'm saying? You were hurting. I kept saying I was hurting. He's like, nah, you healing. And I started feeling better immediately. And that's real.
Now I'm gonna tell you, and that's where I'm at. A lot of that is thanks to my wife, because a lot of times I get in this mode of like, damn, speaking is what I do,
To amazing.
She would be like, right, to amazing, dealing with speech, right. That's the Odu I'm born under. To amazing. But she wouldn't let me do that. Or we be saying something, and I'm joking, but you got to watch even when you're joking. I say, we'll say something. She say, no, so I say, oh, baby, you know how my mind is. And she said, your mind is great.
Right.
Your mind is strong.
And
reminding me not to just say it, because you shouldn't even joke that way. The students got on me. I just always be like, I'm just old and weak. And it's like, stop saying you're old and weak.
Yes.
Stop saying that about yourself, because you're not old and weak. And that would be my little thing to throw people off. But I may have thrown some folks off, but I'm also jacking myself up by saying that. So no longer you're going to hear that from me of talking about old and weak and stuff like that. No, I'm older and I'm getting stronger, and I'm going to be stronger than I ever was.
Better and better.
And I hope that we all do so. So thank you for your time. This was good having time with you. Overcome your fears. Keep working on it. It's a process. Remember the breath and overcoming that comfort zone. Stepping outside your comfort zone to do what it is you need to do, and that's face that fear. Okay.
We'll be back to techniques.
And we'll be back with techniques next week on Remix Morning Show, and in the next Warrior class, we'll be dealing with techniques. Trying to think of what techniques we're going to do. I'm going to do something probably controversial. Like when we did the ground technique, that got controversial. And it's really because of people's fear of getting on that ground. Right. But instead of facing that, they tried to say, well, that you can't do it that way.
Right. You don't need to do that.
So what we're going to do is give you something that's outside your comfort zone and challenge you and ourselves to step outside that comfort zone and get it done. So thank you for your time. We love you.
Appreciate y'all on the live chat.
Stay black or whatever it is you are. Indigenous or not indigenous, whatever you are, stay that, be that, and be yourself and be good at that. And one day you will that, but hey, only think you'll be there with you because you're gonna overcome that fear. All right. Love y'all.
Peace, family.
I'm gonna be on the mothership. I like